Hello, welcome, merry meet. We are two friends, Med,
And Emma.
revisiting our love for all things witchy, magical, and paranormal.
This podcast is us feeling our way through exploring all the possibilities, and we'd like to invite you along for the journey.
Hi, Witchy Wanderers. Welcome to this episode. Today, we're stepping into the new year energy. We'll be acknowledging what we want to leave behind from last year, exploring how to set meaningful intentions, and introducing a magical vision board concept. We'll delve into the essence of manifestation magic, what it truly means, how it works, and how you can align with it. And of course, we'll finish with a fun, magical this or that to spark your 2026 adventures. So before we delve into all of that, Med, how have you been doing? What have you been up to?
We're pausing this episode for a moment because it's time to announce the winner of our giveaway. Here's a recording of us drawing the name live, and if you want to see it, the video is up on our social media.
Hi, Witchy Wanderers. The moment is here, and we're about to spin the wheel and draw the winner for our Yule and New Year giveaway.
One of you is about to win a full year in our Full Moon Circle tier. Thank you all for entering. Let's find out who the winner is.
It's
Okay, we've
exciting.
now
Good
spin the
luck.
wheel. Helen, you're our winner. Congratulations. We look forward to welcoming you to the Full Moon Circle tier, and we will be in touch shortly.
Congratulations.
Hello. So I had a lovely Christmas with my family. I had said in the last episode that we had gone through a traumatic time in the hospital and stuff, but bless my son, he's so resilient. He just bounced back, and we managed to pull it together and have a lovely Christmas together. I think both the children were very happy, and yeah, it was just a lovely time. And then New Year, the highlight of our New Year was Stranger Things. So we are avid Stranger Things fan. It's the first TV program my son's really loved and been into. So yeah, we had some late nights watching those together.
Stay up until, what was it, 2 o'clock in the morning when the
3
finale
o'clock.
happened?
3 o'clock we watched it at 1 a.m. when it came out, and Josh had all his Stranger Things snacks we'd got from him, thanks to B&M. And yeah, we stayed up to 3 a.m. and watched it. So yeah, that was really fun. So yeah, since then I've been I entered the new year in a really positive mindset, ready to kind of take on everything and make it my year. And I have been doing that, but I've also had some setbacks because the universe does like to throw things at me every time I decide to do this. So I won't dwell on the negatives, but I will touch on them. Our lovely Peter Rabbit, he is our pet, he's a real rabbit, died a few days ago, very suddenly. So that wasn't a nice start to the new year.
No.
But in terms of the positives, I have been, like I said, I came into the new year before that happened, ready to kind of spark my new year and do things. And I am really grateful for where I live because there's a great female community here. There's lots of Facebook groups and things like that that are solely for women connecting with each other and supporting each other. And through that, I found a group of women. There's 20 to 30 of us. I know there was 21, but a few people have joined, so I don't know the exact number. But we are all doing this. So it came from, what's it called? 75 hard challenge, but we're doing the soft version. So 75 soft. And it's a whole challenge where we're all on a WhatsApp group and we're trying to meet these goals of healthy eating, calorie counting, exercise, water, and bettering yourself through like non-fiction books. So I've chosen at the moment the Let Them Theory book, audiobook, because I can't read anymore, can't focus. Um, and they are the most wonderful group of supportive women. And it's so nice to be in a group of people that don't even know each other. I know one woman in there. She's lovely. And we are all supporting each other through all of the ups and downs throughout the day of taking on this challenge. And it's kind of the whole theory is if you do something every day for 75 days, you're building a habit.
Yeah.
And so your brain then starts to do it and continues to do it after the 75 days. And I'm really kind of relishing in it at the moment and enjoying it. I'm not sure how much it will work for me because I have health issues and my metabolism is shot, but it's still making me feel better. And you still need to eat healthily even if you don't lose weight. So it's more for health reasons than anything. But yeah, really enjoying that. And the last thing is, I was talking last month about things I wanted to do around the house, and I have been doing some of those things, and it does really uplift me when I go to like certain areas of my house and I'm seeing the difference. And also, I realised off the back of trying to redo areas in my house that I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere.
Mm.
So, like, I have this desk area in my bedroom for recording the podcast, but it's not big enough for me to the way it's set up, it's not set up in a way where I could, like, perhaps do my gaming in VR here. So I'm always just moving around the house to different places to do my game in VR and getting in other people's way and having to move and
I
stuff.
noticed that.
Yeah.
That times we're in a game and you're like, "I've got to move again, wait a
Yeah.
moment."
Exactly. And also, like, just getting ready. Like, I know you have a dressing table. I don't have room for a dressing table in my bedroom because I have this set up in here. And so I do my hair and makeup kind of in my hallway downstairs I had a tiny mirror that I could only see my face in, and another mirror that I could see my full body in, but quite awkwardly. And all of my stuff was trying to just fit in this drawer that was half broken, that was part of our shoe cupboard, and I was using the surface of it and didn't have proper like storage things to organize it. So it was like this big daunting thing whenever I wanted to do skincare or something like that because I had to like rummage through these baskets to find stuff. So I've been overhauling that whole area, and that's made such a difference to me, and hopefully will start making a difference to my skin because for the first time in my life, I have acne.
Oh my goodness, you're going
I went through
backwards.
puberty and did not have acne, but this fucking sorry to swear, I don't usually, but this fucking perimenopause thing has just honestly, it's killing me. And I don't know how to deal with acne because I've never frigging had it.
Yeah, it will pass. It does pass, thankfully. But you feel like when you first go into perimenopause that you're taking a you're going backwards. You turn into this
Yeah.
hormonal teenager again.
Exactly, and I'm just
Literally.
like, "What is this?" So I'm dealing with that, and I am going to have more spaces around the house for myself. I'm gonna have my own kind of gaming area downstairs that me and it was my husband's idea actually. When I was saying I realised I have nowhere to be for certain things, and he kind of broke it down with me, and we made a plan and stuff. So
Oh,
that's
that's
all very
good.
exciting.
Ah, he's helpful, isn't he?
He
He's a
is.
good
He's a good
husband.
one. We won't sacrifice him yet.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm always ready with my shovel.
It's appreciated. So that's how I've been. How have you been?
Been really well. Yeah, I have been really good. I did have a cold over Christmas and lost my voice for 2 or 3 days, I think it was. That was hilarious.
It
Um,
was definitely hilarious for me and our other VR friends. We really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Cheers.
I'm glad you're feeling better though.
Otherwise, I've had a really lovely time. I had my daughter down visiting with her partner. They spent Christmas with us. My mum and dad came round on Christmas Day for dinner. In the morning, we'd gone over to my mum and dad's, and I think I've lost count of how many of us there are now. It's probably 25 to 30 people. they crowd into her house and eat and drink and play games and stuff. And that's just what Christmas is to me. So that was absolutely wonderful. I've done a lot of eating chocolates. So I think I've had my whole year's quota of chocolates over Christmas and plenty of drinking Baileys and mulled wine. And I didn't do a simmer pot. I'm a bit guilty. I did say I'd do a simmer pot and I never got around to doing it, but I drank the mulled wine. So yeah. And then New Year's spent quietly at home as usual. We don't tend to really celebrate it. We might, we watched. I think we watched we watched the fireworks, and I was like, meh, it's just the same old thing every year. And then it was my birthday. It was a big birthday too. I had my 50th, which felt very strange. It still feels really strange when I see my birthday cards up on the side, all saying 50, like half a century old. I'm like, who's that? It's not for me. I'm not that old person. I think it's one of those really difficult things because I remember when I was little, my nan, I thought she was old, but she actually only died when she was about my age. So she wasn't old at all. And so I've still got that in my head. It's a really weird sort of concept. Um, but yeah, no, I really enjoyed my birthday. I got a surprise card. So I had a parcel I found on my doorstep, and it was this gorgeous bouquet of flowers. And I opened it, and there was this card in it that was photographs of someone else. It was a personalised card, and it was to Nicola. Something about adventures, more adventures, and whatever. From Phil. So thanks, Phil, for the card and flowers. It was actually Medrian, though. We did have a giggle.
Yeah, but I have now, transitioned to Phil, just so our listeners know. No, I haven't really. So Moon Pig, unfortunately, did mix up the cards. Luckily, they got the flowers correct.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And they did kindly sort it out and send both you and Nicola the correct cards the next day. But I was really like disappointed at first, but actually it just became this joke and it kind of added, I think, to your birthday magic. Now we'll always remember the time that you were Nicola and I was Phil.
Yeah, and I'm
And
gonna treasure
so
that card forever. I've got these pictures of this woman.
also with that, I just can't get the image of Phil Mitchell out of my head. So I'm
Yeah,
like, why
you
did
are
it have to
cool.
be Phil? I'm now Phil Mitchell. Not that there's anything wrong with being Phil Mitchell, but I don't feel like he really, um, captures my essence.
No, I think it's probably totally the opposite.
So that was fun.
It was. Yeah, my birthday was lovely. I went to the pub with my family for lunch, and I met up with a friend in the afternoon as well. And she's taking me. I'm really quite excited about this, and hopefully, I'll be able to feed back on this podcast as well. But we're going to go to a most haunted experience, I think it's called, with um Yvette. Well, Yvette Fielding's not there; it's her husband, Carl. So he'll be there. And so we're going to be doing that in November. So I'm going on a ghost hunt, which I'm really excited about. So yeah, that's lovely. And now I don't know, it's January and a new year. And I guess, this episode's gonna be about what we're leaving behind and what we're gonna be doing going forward, which is quite exciting.
It is exciting. I'm so looking forward to this year, even though It's kind of had a mixed start for me. Um, I'm positive about it. So let's pause and reflect on the past year. What were some key lessons we learned? What moments brought growth or challenges? And what are we ready to let go of, leaving it behind in last year's chapter? We invite you to take a breath and really think about it. While you're doing that, we'll share some of our own reflections with you. Okay, so I'll go first. So, one of the key lessons I've learned in the past year, and I'm still learning now, goes hand in hand with this let them theory that I've been reading about. And it's something I've known for years and I've worked on and I am better at than I used to be. But it's still hard to stick to that and is still important to remind myself and keep working on it. And it is just that. It's when things happen and they're out of your control and you can't control anything other than yourself, it's just to say, let them not listen, let them not do the thing they were meant to do, let them not put in the plan they were meant to do for my son at school. Um, all of that, everything you expect from people or from anything that doesn't work out how you want it is out of your control, unfortunately. You cannot change it. And it's not just the let them part that's important for me. It's moving on from that and saying, let me. Because if you just say let them, then it's like you're just letting go of it. And it's like, oh, well, it didn't exist. But it did exist. It still happened. It still impacts you. It still impacts everything. For instance, I couldn't just say, oh, let them. And then Josh never has an education. Or I couldn't just say, oh, let them and just let go of every friendship I ever had. So then it becomes let me, and it's the moving on from that and deciding, okay, so I can't control that situation or that person or that organization, but I can control how I'm going to react to this and what I'm going to do next. So, for instance, with Josh's school, my reaction is not to keep sending him to school and let them keep failing him like they have done time and time again. I've taken him out of school and I'm looking for other options and I'm advocating for him. With friendships and things like that, it's okay. So I'm not getting what I want from this certain relationship or friendship, or it could be something like in the house with your husband or your kids, and they're not doing exactly what you want them to do. And I can't make them do what I want them to do, but I can do things to put in boundaries for myself. So I can say, well, I'm not going to do everything. And okay, they might have dirty clothes because they're not bringing their washing down, and I'm not going to go into their room and go and seek everything out. However, I am making sure that there is enough food in the fridge that they could just help themselves to. I am available to wash their clothes if they bring them down for me. And what does it matter if they're wearing dirty clothes? If they cared, they'd bring the clothes down. Obviously, you can't do that with young children. You do need to make sure they wear clean clothes. But for instance, I have a 21-year-old. She's a full-grown adult. She can she can definitely wash some clothes or at least bring them to me. And so yeah, that is the main thing I think that I'm taking. And that's why I had this book on my list for a long time. And I've not read it. I've had it probably sitting in my library. I brought it like a year ago. And that's why this challenge has been so good for me as well, because we do need to do non-fiction. And I was like, well, I've got about 5 books I want to read. This is the first. And now I'm finally doing it. And yeah, so that is my main take at the moment that I can think of off the top of my head because I'm focused on it every day.
That's quite a lot.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So what have I learned from last year? I think it is that mindset, it's how you talk to yourself and the types of words you use, that kind of thing, because it really does make a difference. Now, I do meditations on an app called Trip on VR, and one of the things in one of the sessions is they talk about how if you're talking negatively all the time and saying, I haven't got, and this isn't good enough, and all those kind of things, it's that you're always lacking, and you invite that lack as well. Whereas if you start saying, well, I have got this and I have got that, and I'm grateful for this, and all it is definitely about the way you talk about things, on how you actually perceive them, and then also how that reflects around you, because also how you talk can affect other people or your environment. So I've definitely learned from that, and doing my gratitude jar. I did it for most of the year last year, and that's been really helpful. Um, and it's that being in, and also, I would often say, well, things don't work. I never get things right, and all of that sort of down talk. And I was thinking about it actually, I think it was only yesterday. And I remember a time when, it was probably, well, pre children, where nothing to me was like, you know, I wouldn't be fearing anything. If I wanted to try a new job, I'd try it. Even if it was something that I had literally no training in, or I just have an interest in, I'd do it. And I'd usually get those jobs and things. And I had such a good attitude towards all of that. Whereas somewhere along the line, I I lost that. I lost I started thinking I was less than that, and not deserving of these things. And I think all of that talk put me into a position where, I was thinking, everything I do, I'm going to fail at, or, I'm not going to be able to, like with my driving cars, long distance last year. I mean, that was a big thing to take away, is that, I can do it. I can drive long distance and explore new places, and I don't die when I do it. So, yeah, and just how much family mean to me more than the actual things around me as well. So, that we've been, looking at our health and everything like that. My daughter needed health care that she couldn't get through the NHS, and we were able to help her. And, that's a position we'd never been in before. And yeah, so I'm grateful for that, and that's gonna keep going moving forward.
Yeah, I agree with everything you kind of said there, and I've seen kind of you come through the whole driving thing and stuff, um, and all of those things, and I think I relate to a lot of them as well. We have very similar kind of things that we go through, and the gratitude thing, I talked about my gratitude journal that I'd done previously quite a few times on the last episode, and I did get that for Christmas. I put it on my Christmas list, and I've been doing that religiously since I received it as well, which was very difficult during the days where Peter had just passed away the last few days, because I was opening it up and looking at what 3 things are you grateful for? And my first thought was, I'm not grateful for anything. My rabbit's dead. But then I took a few deep breaths and I thought, I do have a lot more things in my life other than that rabbit. What do I have? What's happened today? What am I grateful for? And it's bringing that gratitude mindset back, which I think is so important. And it's like what you were saying, like it's so easy to sit there and just say to myself over and over again each day, my rabbit's dead. Life is rubbish. And then it feels like I've got nothing and I've just lost something, which I have. And I'm not taken away from that. It's still okay to grieve. But also, it's so easy to spiral with that grief or with anything that is a disappointment in your life. And so I think it's important to live in an abundance mindset and live with gratitude and pull more towards you in doing so, which is
Yeah.
kind of what this episode is about. So we're going to talk a lot about manifestation magic, and it's the same thing. Like, you don't realize how much the words you're saying to yourself are. Like, even the words said to plants affects them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you're talking negatively to yourself all the time, you can't expect that not to have an impact on you. And I've probably said this before on here, I've definitely said it on Mum Musings, but the most important thing I learned in therapy for myself was when I'm going to talk to myself about something, I talk to myself as though I'm talking to my daughter. If she was struggling, let's use the example of this challenge I'm doing. Say my daughter was going into it and I'm saying to her, well, you're going to fail at that. You're so fat. You're this, you're that. You've not stuck to it completely today. Why didn't you do the exercise? That's not how I would speak to her. I would be more nurturing and I would say, well, you know, do what makes you feel comfortable. If you feel like you need to do this challenge, that's fine. If you can't keep up with exercise today, that's all right. You've done your best. I wouldn't say those things to her, so I don't say them to me.
The way I sort of think about it as well is like, how do me and you talk to each other about things? Because, we often, when we're struggling, we're both there and we help each other, and the words are always kind. And I always think that, yeah, I should be using those words to myself. And I mean,
Exactly.
I'm really lucky that I have someone else there to remind me. But I think, there are people out there that don't necessarily have people around them that um, use those kind words to them and are encouraging and are, you know, supportive if they aren't able to do something at the moment, because, there's always going to be times you aren't able to do something. Why should you be angry at yourself, or why would you be angry at someone else, if they're clearly struggling? So, I think anyone out there, if you don't have a nurturing family around you, be the person who nurtures you. Definitely.
100%. And going back to my childhood, that's where my self doubt and the way I talk to myself came from. So I didn't have a positive role model. I had quite the opposite. So I had somebody who put down my faults, put down my dreams, told me that I was less than, or even worse, told me to be silent and just walk on eggshells around them and not have my own thoughts or feelings or dreams. So it takes a lot when you've had that learned behavior, no matter how it's come about, to undo it. And I do think therapy is very important. To be honest, I think every person on the planet should have therapy. Whether they believe they've had trauma or not had trauma. And that doesn't mean you'll find the right type of therapy or therapist for you straight away. It took me many years to do so. But I think the right form of therapy for the right person is very important. We're not always in a privileged position to have therapy. It does cost money, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But there are other things you can do to work on those things, like learning about the way the brain works, learning about trauma, learning about yourself. And that's why, again, going back to the challenge, that's been really important for me because it's working holistically on everything. So I'm doing my body, I'm doing my mind, I'm doing my mindset.
Mm.
So
I
yeah,
do. I think that, finding a group of people like that that can lift you up is really helpful, with
100%.
anything. Yeah, I mean, if you can't afford to go out and get therapy, as there's oh, I can't tell you how much good there is in being in a group of people that are there and can help remind you of, being kind to yourself and celebrating your moments and things like that.
Definitely. And as
Uh,
well, it can be hard to find those. I think that with the technology we have now, it enables us to be able to do that once we know where to look. So, for instance, we met each other through VR, through our love of gaming. I wouldn't have a friend in you, and we wouldn't have this podcast and be sitting here talking now if I hadn't just had the hobby of gaming on my VR.
yeah, I
Um,
now want to sing the song from Toy Story, but
Go on then, burst into song. I'm not
no,
doing
you
it.
can do it. I'm not.
My throat's not doing great today for some reason. And again, online, like I said, where I live, there's lots of local groups for women, and that's how I've got these women to do this challenge with. And there's lots of social groups as well. So there are things you can do if you put yourself out there, if you don't
Yeah.
have those people around you yet. And these
Yeah.
people on this challenge I'm doing, I may never meet.
No, no. I mean, us solitary witches, we like doing work on our own, but there's great power in groups of people. There really is. If you find the right group of people, there's so much more power in the magic of our universe, really.
Yeah, we are not solo beings. I do like to spend a lot of time on my own, and I think I prefer doing my magic on my own. Although, if I found the right people, then I might like doing it as a group. I haven't found that click yet, but it's definitely made a difference to me having community and connections around me. 100%. Even though I have such a lovely little family at home and my husband talks to me very nicely and is very supportive, it's just not the same, particularly as female connections. And our VR group means so much to me. Like I don't even call them a VR group. They are my VR family. And we're all so different, and there's males and there's females and there's people of different ages.
Different
Um,
areas of the world we're
yeah,
from.
from all
Yeah.
over the place. Um, but yeah, they've become our family, and we talk nearly every day, and we're spending time with each other nearly every day.
Killing bugs.
Usually killing bugs at the moment.
So, as we shift forward, it's time to focus on the year ahead. Let's explore how setting intentions can guide us. We'll look at what makes intentions different, why they feel more flexible, and how you can shape your year with themes or feelings. First, what's the difference between intentions and resolutions? So, resolutions tend to be rigid goals, while intentions are more about the journey. It's a gentle guide to allow for flexibility. That's why intention setting feels more aligned. It doesn't box you in, it evolves with you. So instead of rigid goals, we encourage you to choose themes or feelings like balance, growth, or joy to guide your year ahead.
So yeah, I've always been a believer that I don't set like New Year's resolutions. Obviously, I've started this challenge in the new year, which isn't something I'd usually do, but that was purely because it aligned with this other group of women that were starting it at the same time. And it aligned with what I needed to do for myself at the moment anyway. But for instance, they were all saying, "Oh, we're going to start this challenge. It starts on Monday the 5th." And I've always been this person like, I'm not going to wait till Monday to start something that I think I need to do. So once I've decided my mindset is, okay, I'm going to do this challenge, I've started. So, but that's, I'm not saying that everybody needs to do that. I'm just saying that's what works for me. And if it works better for somebody to have a set day they're going to start something, then do what works for you. But that's the important thing. You should always do what works for you, not what you think you should do.
Yeah, so I have difficulties with New Year's resolutions. I used to make them all the time, and it's totally a setup for failure, because if you can't, other things happen in life. For instance, like with you, you had your rabbit pass away just as you're meant to be starting, this new thing. And if it was a resolution, you'd suddenly feel like you failed and you've not managed to do it. So, yeah, it's like that tweaking it a bit, making it so it's a bit softer as an intention.
Exactly. And that's why I'm doing 75 soft, because a lot of the women are doing 75 hard. Not the ones in my WhatsApp group, but there's a separate WhatsApp group for those women. And I looked it up once I saw the post inviting us to it, and it was so rigid. And it was like, it was all about you must change your mindset and you must build these habits. And if you don't, you fail. And it was like the 75-day challenge. But if you didn't manage to do just one little thing, even just taking the progress photo, then you start the 75 days all over again. I was like, "Well, I'll be doing it for life." Which is kind of the point because you do want to build these habits for life, but not in that rigid kind of way.
Yeah, sometimes things don't work for us. I mean, I personally, the thought of either of those challenges, hard or soft, scare the life out of me. And I probably would not even start them because I just can't see myself doing anything like that every day. But a different thing would work for me. So, if I did start it and give it up, I mean, I used to go to the gym only once a week, and I did it whilst my son he used to do parkour. So whilst he was over doing parkour in one part of the gym, I was in the other part using all the equipment, and I hated it. Really hated it. And so I was glad when I stopped, and I never beat myself up about stopping. I was just it's not something I enjoyed or could do. And as it is, my body got injured anyway, and I haven't been able to do those sort of exercises anyway. So, but yeah, it's that, what intentions are we putting out there? Is it something that is going to benefit us? Is it something that's going to upset us if we're not getting it? What are we doing towards getting it? Because that's one of the other things in intentions or manifestation. You still have to work, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. You can't just, unfortunately, magic doesn't work in that way where you just do the spell, blow out the candle, and everything comes running to you. You have
No.
to show the universe that you are working for it and you are also running towards the thing. It-
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
yeah. But yeah, I completely agree with what you said. The challenge that I'm doing, or anything that anybody does, is not for everybody, and you should only do what works for you. And it's very important not to compare yourself to other people or think, oh, because somebody else can do this, I should be able to do it. That's not true at all. I'm only doing this challenge because it is something that I feel I can do and want to do and enjoy, and like it is benefiting me. But if I felt like, for instance, it could have gone completely the other way. I could be in that group of women and I could be looking at them doing really well and doing their exercise every day and then feeling less than because I can't. But that's not how I feel. And if I had been feeling that way, then I would have withdrawn myself from it. I wouldn't plow on and feel like, oh, now I have to make sure I do this challenge because they're doing it, so I should be able to. Maybe an older version of me would have felt that way, but that's not
No.
how I feel. And if that is how you feel when you're trying to put your mind to something, then maybe that's not something you should be putting your mind to. Let's talk more about manifestation magic. So, like we said, manifestation isn't about instant results or unrealistic expectations. It's not about wishing really hard and waiting for the universe to do all the work. Manifestation is about alignment, bringing together your mindset, your actions, and a sense of trust in the process. It starts with mindset, how you speak to yourself, what you believe is possible, and how you show up for your own intentions. From there, action plays a key role. Even small, gentle steps count. And alongside that, there's trust. Trust in yourself, trust in the timing, and trusting that things can unfold without forcing them. There are lots of simple ways to work with manifestation that don't feel overwhelming or performative. Writing intentions can help bring clarity. Speaking them aloud can give them weight and energy. Small daily rituals, or even something as simple as lighting a candle or taking a mindful moment, can anchor those intentions into every day. And visualization allows you to connect emotionally with what you're calling in, rather than just thinking about it logically. These practices aren't about doing more or doing it perfectly. They're about creating small, meaningful moments that help you stay connected to what you're inviting into your life.
Manifesting, it's a funny kind of concept because again, it's having the right intention behind what it is that you want to manifest. And I hadn't when I've been doing like my intention boards and things like that, I've asked for more financial security and things and stuff like that, really, but not been really specific about it. So then I'd be, I'm going along, I'm thinking, well, what's happening? I don't feel like there's anything happening with it. And I actually realized that I was manifesting in a different way. So I'm one of these people that I give a lot, not money because I don't have a lot of money, but I give a lot of my time and I like helping people. I volunteer a lot and things like that. And there was a time that I was like, why do people keep giving me stuff? I keep like people that I didn't know very well would send me gifts and I didn't understand it. I'm like, why am I getting this? Why am I deserving this? And then I realized actually, there are things that I'm already doing that's manifesting that. And I just didn't recognize it. But I do think that it's really important that you're quite specific about it because I've done like manifesting vision boards, which I think you're going to talk more on. And I'm not always specific about it. Do you remember when we did? Well, you told me about the vision boards, didn't you? And sent me stuff. And I put one together and I'm really guilty. It's like behind a cupboard and I don't see it.
But then that wasn't the right thing for you, and you shouldn't feel guilty about it. And perhaps you weren't feeling the energy of that vision board and what you put into it. So I have done vision boards before that I've ticked off everything on there has happened. And when I was sitting there doing it, it was the right thing for me and I was aligned with it and I was putting the right energy into it and I was specific. But the last vision board I done, I'm on my third one now. The first two came true. The third one I can't even look at.
Oh,
I didn't put up in the end because I didn't feel like it was right for me, and I wouldn't look at it again, and that was from last year, and I plan to do a new one this month, hopefully, because my daughter also wants to do one, so we're going to do one together, and I plan to sit there with it and really focus on it this time and think about what I put into it because I realised I was feeling guilty about the old one and thinking, "Oh, I must put that up soon. I'm not doing it properly." But then I was like, "Hold on, why do I need to do it? Because I don't feel like I made it correctly, and I'm not in the mindset to make a new one right now. So perhaps a vision board isn't for me right now." So if you don't feel aligned to your vision board, then don't use it. Maybe burn it. Let go of those things. You don't need them. Or you do need them and they're coming to you in a different way. And maybe you'll make a new vision board or maybe you won't. But don't
yeah,
hold on to it and definitely don't feel guilty about it.
yeah, yeah. I I think for a start, I made it way too big. I think if you're going to be doing something like that, particularly for me, it needs to be something that you can actually have out on display quite easily. I made it was yeah a very big board, and it yeah to me it felt cluttered. I think I need to you know just put a few things on rather than the amount I did.
I mean, you could even do a vision board that's only focused on one thing, just one intention at a time. You could do a series of small ones over some time that are just focused on the one thing and have various images relating to that one thing and get
Yeah,
really specific with it.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, some things on it have, happened, which is good. Because one of the things that I put on there was for, to be able to have good health care. And, we were able to help my daughter. So sometimes you don't notice those things happening. I was thinking, why am I not getting loads of money? And why am I not like really successful or anything like that? But actually, quietly in the background, those little things are seeping through. And, you can put a manifestation or an intention down and everything. It doesn't mean it has to happen immediately. It can take a while. I remember listening to a podcast but this is going back a while. I think it was the White Witch podcast. And oh, she's lovely. Go and listen to her. And she was saying about things she'd manifested, and it had taken years, taken absolutely years. But she said that I think she was talking about how, it happened at the right time. You can't necessarily expect it to happen there and then. It will happen at the right time for you.
Definitely. I think, again, it's about connecting to your inner self and being authentic about it. Like, if you're reaching for things like, I want to win the lottery or I want to have huge amounts of money, but you're nowhere near the position to have huge amounts of money, or like me, you don't buy a lottery ticket anyway.
Same.
How are you gonna win the lottery? And even if you did, what are the chances? Just because you've done manifestation and made a vision board, it doesn't really increase your chances to win the lottery. However, if you're reaching for things that you would like some more income, you would like to feel more financially stable, and you're ready to do the work to do that, and you're in a position in your life where it is time for you to receive that, then it will come to you. But it's not like, oh, we just put this checklist out and everything comes. You have to be ready spiritually, practically, for these things to come to you. And sometimes we're blocking our own selves from receiving them as well. So we might be putting this vision board out, for example, but inside we're saying, well, I'm never going to do better at work because of this, or um, you don't feel deserving of certain things, or you're just lazy about it and don't want to actually put in the work. You just want it to come to you. But it's not going to happen.
Oh, I'd love it if I could just light a candle, put an intention to it, and then I'd win the lottery.
That would be
I can say
lovely.
that I'm worthy of it. I'd do good things with it.
Agreed. And that's something that I've really struggled with for a long time and still do sometimes, because I feel like you, I'm a very giving person. I do a lot for the community. I volunteer. I do a lot for people that I meet in life, people I barely know or do know well. And I am a giving person and I mean well for everybody. And I try to put as much positivity as I can out towards people. And then I feel like, why do I only get negativity back? What is going on? And in reality, I don't only get negativity back, but when you're feeling down and you're not getting certain things that, for instance, my son not being in school, that's really something I've been struggling with. And I've been doing all the right things, and I'm educated enough, luckily, to know what to do to get him the help. But there's still just
Yeah.
roadblock after roadblock in the way. And really, he shouldn't be in that position.
No,
He
no.
has a right to an education. He's in a country where he should be getting an education. He's got his diagnosis to get the right help. I've reached out to all the right people, done all the right things. And
Yeah,
he has no behaviour issues, nothing like that. Not that that should stop him getting an education, but it does make things harder sometimes. There's no reason he shouldn't be getting an education. We've
no.
got advocates. But
I
still, he's at home. And that's
yeah,
where, you start to get bogged down by things because you're like, oh, why am I not receiving when I put out and I put out? But then I
yeah.
have other times where I sit back and I think, wow, how lucky am I? I've got this podcast that I'm doing with my amazing friend because I
Privileged.
was privileged enough to be able to get a headset. Now, I got that headset in a time where I could never have afforded a headset for myself. Now, luckily, I could afford a headset for myself because I've now gone on to buy one for my son. But at the time,
Yeah.
it was gifted to me by my late mother-in-law, who
And I was
was
the same. My mum gifted me my first one as well.
exactly.
So,
So
yeah,
she was privileged enough and generous enough to gift me with that. And that gave me an outlet at a time where I was quite anxious, not wanting to leave the house as much. I'd always been into gaming, but I hadn't gamed for a long time. because I was always doing things for my children. They were younger at the time, or for the house, or whatever else, or for other people. And I had never had any time for myself. And so that became my thing, like, oh, I'm going to have an outlet for myself. And that was how I met you. And that's how I've got this podcast. And sometimes I sit there and I think, wow, a lot of the things I wanted for myself, I have. When did this happen? And you realize little things like you said, you were able to pay for your daughter's surgery. Like, I'm able to get my son a VR headset. I'm able to take the kids on holiday. We went on holiday last year. That was his first
And
holiday abroad.
you're also able to have him at home, as you are in a position that, you can be at home with him. You are a teacher yourself. He's happy. You get to spend more time with your lovely son, and he is just adorable, even if he is shouting in the background. Only because he's gaming with his friends, but, and because I'm in a very similar situation as you. My son's a bit older, he's in GCSE year, and he's not able to go to school. I mean, the school he's in have been, they've tried really hard to help us, and they have a really good SEN department. He doesn't have to go into a classroom with lots of people or anything like that, but he still doesn't manage to go in. And you do think, why us? I could I could be working and bringing more money into the house and stuff like that. But then on the flip side, I'm so privileged that I can stay at home with him. It's not easy. We get benefits, disability benefit for him, just so that I can stay. It goes a little bit towards me staying here, but we can, and that's a positive. And he's such a lovely boy, really bright. I'm amazed with the knowledge he has, considering he's barely ever been to school, not well, secondary school anyway. And he's polite, and we had a really good conversation yesterday for about an hour talking about the world and what's going on and politics and things like that. And so we are quite privileged, lucky. No, I say that. Hang on a minute. We're not lucky. We've worked really hard to be in this position, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely. Like, that's a
Yeah.
conversation I've had a lot with my husband about how people say I'm lucky for certain things. For example, went through this whole phase where people kept telling me how lucky I was to have a husband like Lee.
Mm,
And while it's lovely
he is
and
a
he
lovely
is
man,
and
yeah.
he is lovely and I'm not taking away from that, I am not lucky to have him. I did it on purpose. I I worked really hard on myself, firstly, and then worked really hard on saying no to all of the previous type of men that I was dating and finding the right person who aligned with me and was Lee. It
Yeah.
was a manifestation and I put in all the hard work to do it and the same for him. Like his previous relationships also didn't work out because he's not just this magical perfect man who appeared in my life. And as a woman, that's something I think women experience a lot is like we should be so grateful and lucky for anything good we get. No, I'm very much doubt all of his male friends were saying to him, "Oh, you're so lucky you found someone like Matt." So that used to really grate on me. So I kind of trained myself to say to them, "Oh no, yeah, I am. I'm happy that I've got someone like him, but it was hard work. I had to work on myself first."
Yeah.
And I
And
think that goes with
that's
everything.
it. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's that you do have to work really hard on yourself. And I mean, we've mentioned it in previous podcasts. We've both been doing that. We've been doing a bit of I guess that's shadow work, isn't it?
Yeah, that is shadow work. Finally, you're there.
I'm s-
You are
it's
learning, and
all
that's what it's
good.
all about.
It's all a journey, isn't it?
It is all a journey, and we're on an ever evolving journey. And what you were saying with having the boys at home is so true. And I flick from one side to the other with it depending on how I'm doing. So sometimes I feel like so hard done by because I worked to get to the top of my career and now I have to be at home and not doing my career. And because of that, I can't give my children all the things I'd want to give them. But also, how important is that really? Because I stopped doing it for an important reason. My son and my daughter at the time, she was younger, needed me at home.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky that I was able to stop doing it, recognize that, and be at home for them.
Yeah. Now you've got more time for being with me on VR.
Depends on the
You
day,
would
but yeah.
I mean, think about it. If we were working full time, and I was working full time when I first met you on VR, oh, it's really hard to get the time to actually go on and have a social life and stuff, isn't it? So yeah,
Yeah. It's hard. It's all about balance. It's hard to find the time. And equally, it's holding yourself accountable and having the balance not to be in VR all the time and to get all those things done around the house that I want to do and change and to do my spiritual work and my work with Josh and all of those things. So yeah, balance is key to everything, I think.
no, I'd really love to hear any experiences that our listeners have had if they've done any manifesting. What intentions are they putting out there themselves this year? Just let us know. I'm really curious to find out if, you've had things happening and didn't realize it was because of how you were talking to yourself or yeah, basically anything that we've sort of chatted about today. Come onto our social media and tell us about it. Carry on the conversation.
Definitely. It's so nice when we hear that people have related to like things we're talking about and they've had similar experiences. And yeah, I mean, it's nice that we have each other and we can relate to each other and have that understanding. But it just sometimes it's like we're just talking here, just having a conversation. We forget that other people are actually listening. And when you see that somebody you've never met has like really related to something you've said and felt those feelings and either gone through it already or it spurred them to go through something and to make a change. It's really a blessing to be able to do this podcast, which is
Yeah.
something that we manifested for a long time as well. We talked about it for a long time before we did it, and then we were like, "Should we
Yeah.
just give it a go?" And somehow we manifested a whole episode to put out. And now we're on season 2. So if you'd like to go on to try this vision board, I don't know if it's something you've done before, there is a way to bring kind of your witchy essence into it, as with everything. This is how I do it. So you can use anything, a piece of cardboard, you can do it on paper, or you can go fancy and get your whole canvas from Hobbycraft or wherever, and the Works is good for those types of things.
I think there are actually apps as well people can use to do them.
Oh, there.
So yeah, yeah.
That's cool. I mean, I
You can
prefer to
because
have a physical thing, but
you can make vision boards. I think even on Pinterest you can do it.
oh, okay, interesting.
So yeah, for you tech witches.
I think it might be hard to do the things I'm gonna suggest with an app thing, but that's still an option. So, the way I do it is I get a nice piece of card. I like to go all out. I'm quite a crafty arts person, so I put nice kind of washi tape around the edges of it. And then I have, like, printables that I bought off of, Etsy, but you can probably just find them in magazines or on Pinterest and print them however you want to do it. And I think of the things I want to add to it. I also have a fancy little gadget. Well, it seems fancy, but I actually got it from Temu, and it's like a thermal sticker thing. So I can print any thermal picture and then stick it onto my vision board as well.
I want one of those.
I brought them from my workshops and they were really popular, so people were able to really personalise that. So I have carried out vision board workshops and I'm actually doing one next week for the charity I work for as well. So yeah, it'll be coming out for that. So it means that people can really visualise like their exact thing. So for instance, with you, you wanted to manifest having your granddad's house. You
Yeah,
could print your actual granddad's house, a photo, and stick it on there with it.
yeah.
So, yeah, I do that. I place all the things where I want them to be. I focus my intention of them. I'm really sitting there and thinking, I have a candle going. I've done all of my grounding before I do it. I'm visualizing already having received those things. And I'm affirming, I'm grateful that I've got these things. So that's the important part when you're doing manifestation, is that you're talking as though you've already got them. They're already yours. You're claiming them. And then the other witchy side of it is you can bring in things like sigils into it. So you could just use the glue you're sticking it down with. If you don't want it to be visible, you could make that into a sigil or a rune, and then you can stick it on top, or you could put it underneath things that you're sticking onto it, or you can have them showing. It's up to you. And then you could bring color magic into this. So you could use certain pens, or you could print certain colored things depending on what you're wanting to bring into you. For instance, pink is often used for self love. So if you're trying to bring more self love to yourself, you might use pink. And crystals. So I did this thing. I kind of use color magic as well as crystals. I used the color wax that I wanted to use. I dripped it onto the board, and then I used crystal shards and stuck them on with the colored wax. And so that was infusing the board with the magic of the things that I wanted. So I was kind of charging my vision board. And sometimes on my first one, I actually topped that up as well. So when I felt like I weren't focusing enough on the vision board and it weren't quite doing what it was meant to do, I came back to it and recharged it, just kind of like you would with an altar or a spell jar. And you can sit there and you can talk to your vision board when you're making it, when you come to it. You can say things like that to charge it. So you can say, thank you for what you're doing. Remind it, keep giving it the spell. This is what you're doing for me. This is what I've received. I would like to receive this, or I am receiving this. And so, yeah, that is the way you can do your magical vision board.
I'd absolutely love to. I think really we need to sit down and do a vision board together.
That needs to be an intention
Yeah.
for 2026, is that we do make time to actually physically be together and do these things,
Yeah.
as
Yeah,
well as
definitely.
more which way next, which is in the
Adventures.
wild, going on our little road trips and stuff, which we need to start planning.
We do. We do definitely.
If you do have, talking to the listeners, if you do have any suggestions for places that me and Emma should visit, if you listened to our previous episode, you know we did our first one last year and we went to Puzzlewood, which was absolutely amazing. We're thinking UK, quite easy to get to from Hertfordshire and Essex at the moment. We're not ready to venture out, I don't think. But yeah, if you have any place you think would be good for us to visit, it'd be great, because we do need inspiration and we need to put our energy into actually doing rather than saying.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see if there's something that's between our counties.
Yeah. Yeah.
Need to
Definitely.
have an investigation, see if there's anything between Hertfordshire and Essex.
So yeah, I think the main take from bringing more intention into your life and manifesting is that you want to bring it into your daily life. It's so easy when you're busy to kind of lose focus of the things that you're focusing on. So that's why I like the vision board. It might not be for everyone, but it's something you can just glance at. You walk past in the morning, wherever you put it. I like to put it on the wall next to my bedside table. So when I wake up in the morning, I can just look at it and focus on it for even a few seconds. And it just realigns me with, that's what I'm working towards. That's my goals. That's what I want to come. And every now and then you look at it and you go, oh my God, that's happened. So other ways you can do that are journaling, like we've spoken about. With your altar spaces, you can add things on there that symbolize things that you are placing intention on and drawing towards yourself. We have on our Which Way Next Patreon, each month we have an oracle style wallpaper that is for setting intention. So at the moment, the intention is begin, and there's kind of whole script around that as to what that means for each individual person and what you're going to focus on to begin. So it's all about setting your intention for the year. So you could use a phone wallpaper that symbolizes something that you're trying to bring to yourself and spend some time looking at that each day and focusing on it. Or just spending quiet moments, either meditating or just sitting with yourself and thinking about these things. So we've come to that part of the episode. It's time for magical this or that. So let's dive right in. And remember, we like you to play along at home. So if you want to grab a pen and paper and do it, or just say it out loud. The reason I say a pen and paper is because we'd love to hear on our social media what you answered as well. So the first question is vision board or written intentions?
Ooh, okay. I'm finding this one really hard.
That's what we do in this game. Ask the hard questions.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, as a creative person, I think actually vision board. I mean, writing things down is great. I mean, I do that a lot with I write down my gratitudes. However, I think if you want something that's visually appealing and will get your attention, then vision board.
Yeah, I think I'm going to carbon copy that answer. I do both. Like I said, I'm doing the gratitude journal, and that's kind of, it's got questions at the end of the day as well. That's thinking more about intention and reflection and stuff. And I do find that very helpful. And also in my spell work, I often, that's what you're doing, isn't it? You're writing your intentions and then bringing them towards you. So I think it all has its part, but I guess it's that time of year where I'm thinking about doing my vision board because I plan to do it hopefully with you in the next week or so. So my mind is on that. So at the moment, my answer is vision board. Look at us being decisive. Next one is, well, I think we know the answer. Quiet reflection or creative ritual?
We know the answer to this. Creative ritual. See, for me, it's like two totally different things that have a place.
Yeah, I agree.
And I do a lot of quiet reflection, and that's part of my meditation. So I do that a lot. So I'm going to go with that.
You've gone with quiet reflection.
I have,
Oh,
yeah.
nice. Well done. I saw the word creative and automatically thought that would be the answer. But then I thought about it and realised I do both so often. I don't know how I'm meant to choose between the two. I'm actually going to say the same. I think quiet reflection because I find that I definitely need a creative outlet and I enjoy doing my crafts and bringing my kind of witchiness into that and stuff as well. But the quiet reflection is something I need very often. My mind is very busy, ADHD, and my household is very busy. It's full of neurodivergent people who don't shut up. They're so loud all day, all night. They've all got different sleep schedules. So I've realised how important it is for me to have those quiet times. And I wasn't realising when I wasn't having those quiet times and how much it affected me. But now I'm making sure I get them. I'm a whole new person. And also, when you're having a quiet, reflective time, it's when you're doing your inner work, which is something that I value and need and do a lot of. So, yeah, quiet reflection for me. Morning intentions or evening reflections?
I make lots of intentions in the morning, and whether those happen or not, I don't know. And that depends on whether I need to reflect on it in the evening. Right, which one? Morning intentions or evening reflections? Um, I think it's always good to reflect on your day and the things that have happened, and that gives you the opportunity to think about what you're grateful for as well. So I'm going to go with evening reflections.
Nice. I'm also going to go with evening reflections. I make plans in the morning, and I have intentions, but I don't feel they're as impactful to me as my evening reflections. And often those plans don't go how I wanted them to. But when I reflect in the evening, I realise they went as they were supposed to. And actually, I had more of a productive day than I thought. I just did different things than I thought I was going to do, or did them a different way.
Yeah.
So for me, the reflection is very important.
Yeah. Oh, we decided that one quickly.
We did. Forest paths or seaside air?
I can't answer that. Both of those are equal to me. They both have a place in my heart and in my being and in my soul. I mean, if someone said to me today, do you want to go to the beach or do you want to go to the forest? I would probably choose beach because I can go into the woods and the forest whenever I like. I have them on my doorstep. For me, with the sea, it's miles away. We're probably in one of the furthest points from the sea here in the UK. And there's something really cleansing about it. Blows away the cobwebs. It indulges my need for finding hagstones and pretty stones, and um, I find it more cleansing. It's a cleansing thing, whereas the forest for me is grounding. Um, it's a hard choice, but if I was put on the spot, that's what I'd say.
For me, it's not a hard choice. You'd think I would choose seaside as a Pisces, but no, I love the forest. It's my favourite place. Being by the sea is nice, but I don't have as much of a spiritual connection with it as I do when I'm in the forest. When I'm in the forest, it's like I've transported into a magical realm and I become part of the forest and I'm connected to something more spiritual than just my physical being and where I am on this planet. I can't even explain how I feel when I'm in the woods, but for me, I feel like I tap into my higher consciousness when I'm in the woods and I come out with clarity.
Mm. I
And
I find it really weird because you said, "Oh, as a Pisces, you'd think it would be the sea." Well, I'm a Capricorn, and I chose the sea over forest.
yeah,
So,
it's strange, isn't it?
yeah, but I think for different reasons. Purely because it's something, for me, it's because it's not available all the time. Um, yeah, whereas you're about how your connections are with it, the forest. So,
Yeah. I mean, I'm lucky. I do live only 20 minutes from the sea and I've got lovely forests around me as well. So I do have both options. And I do love going there, but I would definitely choose the forest over it. However, baths are my favourite thing. I love being immersed in a bath. If I'm experiencing trauma, um, or PTSD, flashbacks and stuff, my place to be is the bath. If I submerge myself in the water, then it calms me down. So I do still have that connection with water, just not necessarily the sea.
it's weird though because like with the sea, although it's somewhere that I'm drawn to, I find it terrifying. It's not. It doesn't feel safe. It's
No.
really weird. I mean, it's there. It's cleansing. I find it is. I don't mean actually walking into the sea or anything. I mean just actually being there feels like it cleanses you. But yeah, at the same time, mm, it kind of reminds you of how fragile you are. The sea is so immense and so unknown, whereas the forest, I think you do feel more connected to, that you know more about it, or I
Yeah.
certainly do know more about it, and it's a safe place, except on a windy day. A tree might fall on you.
Especially if you're at camp, the amount of what did they call them? Widow makers in that forest,
Yeah,
as beautiful as it was.
this is true. You might have a squirrel drop a nut on your head from a height, and then that knock you out.
Sunrise energy or twilight calm?
I never get to see the sunrise. I've rarely ever seen the sunrise. Um, there have been points in my life where I've made the effort and it's been amazing. And again, once was when I was at the seaside. And I remember I'd woken up before all my friends. We were away together. And I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to go and sit on the top of this very small cliff because I'm very scared of heights. It was a very small cliff and just watch the sunrise. And that was absolutely amazing. What was it? Twilight, did you say? I think
Twilight calm.
Twilight Calm. Yeah, that's the winding down at the end of the day, and that I do enjoy. So I think I'm going to go with the Twilight Calm.
Mine is 100% twilight calm. I am not a morning person. As beautiful as it would be, and I did enjoy the sunrise in my younger days when I was maybe slightly more of a morning person. But, yeah, I'm more of a sunset person, and I enjoy that time when if you are, like, outside, like, walking and it's calm and everyone's kind of come home from work and it's quite kind of dark and it's got kind of that purple hue in the air, and you're just out there kind of in the quiet. I think there's something really peaceful and beautiful about that. So, yeah, that's definitely my time. Okay, shall we do one last one?
Yeah, go for it.
Wild flowers or mossy stones? Why do you look so angry?
They are like, for me, like so intertwined on how. I mean, I've always had this thing about fairies. It's been in my bones since I was like a very young child. And I don't know whether it's around having like the flower fairy books and I remember my nan having one. That was the first time I experienced them. And so I had this love of wildflowers. Lots of the fairies are around wildflowers, but with fairies come lovely mossy stones and I don't know. I can't choose. No, okay, I will choose. I will choose. I'm going to say wildflowers
Is there a reason?
just because I've always had this massive fascination with wildflowers, probably due to the flower fairy books. Mm. And I just love them. And I love that with each season they all change. And particularly, when you see in the spring flowers coming up and, it's like hope for a new year and yeah. I'm gonna go with the wildflowers. Sorry, mossy stones. I do love you as well.
So I also love wildflowers. I used to be a flower arranger. I made a business out of that. But I'm going to go for mossy stones. And I think again it goes to my kind of forest ways. And I just find it magical when you, especially like for instance when we went to Puzzlewood, the mossy stones there, I just found them so, I don't even know how to describe it. I just found them magical. And I wonder, when you were saying about your connection to like the Fae and your books when you were younger, I wonder if part of my love of the woods comes from my The Enchanted Wood and Magic Faraway Tree love, because that's my favourite childhood book. I actually have it above my head now on my desk, one of my childhood copies. I wonder if that's where my love of the forest started. I'm not sure.
It
I'll
could
have to
be. I
ponder
do
on that.
think that they
Although
have a massive influence over us, things, our first experiences. So,
yeah, definitely, and that was my first, well, maybe not my first, but that was a magical world that I was kind of opened to when I was young, and it's all about magic, and there's a fairy in it, and there's all sorts of magical beings and magical goings on. Mm, so yeah, I wonder if that's part of it. Although, as I've spoken about on here before, I think a lot of my connection to the forest comes from Ellen of the Ways and her perhaps being a spirit guide. Um, yeah, interesting. Okay, so we've done it. We answered the questions, we made choices. Go us. We are kind of running out of questions for this game, so I don't know whether we'll continue with it going forward or maybe come up with a fresh game. If you've got any ideas for either questions for Magical This or That or new games we could play, let us know.
do you know what? I would love it if our listeners sent us questions in to answer.
Me too.
Yeah,
It'll feel more like valuable, if you get
yeah,
me, rather than
exactly.
just pulling questions out of thin air. Well, out of ChatGPT.
Yeah, yeah. So send your questions in,
Yeah,
please.
we'd love that.
Yeah,
And it doesn't have to be questions for Magical This or That. I mean, we'd love those as well. But if you have any questions for us or any stories, we'd love to bring them to the podcast.
definitely. I just want to say, if you could hear any crackling noises in the background, my cat Lulu just came in here and jumped onto a plastic bag and is now rustling around on it so that she can settle down. So, yeah, that's Lulu, not the ghosts this time.
I actually can't hear it. Seeing as you've mentioned the ghosts this time, the reason she's said that is because we're on the last part of the episode now. So we started recording a few days ago. We had to scrap our first recording because it had shushing noises and voices we couldn't make out over it.
And
And
it
we had to
wasn't
start.
Lulu.
That wasn't Lulu. So we had to start a brand new file and start again, and it seemed to be going fine. And then when I was editing yesterday, about 27 minutes in, when I was talking about something quite dark, actually, well, you will have heard it because I've edited it now. It's still in, but it's not got the voice in it. So I was the part where I'm talking about my mother's words and the way she affected me, and then I said, or even worse, made me silent, something to that effect. A voice came over it, quite a deep voice. I couldn't make out what it was saying, but it is on our social media. It's on our TikTok, it's on our Facebook, it's on our Patreon. If you do want to go and have a listen and give us your thoughts on it, because I don't know if it's just our editor messing up, which it never has before, or whether that's a spirit. So, yeah, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Speaking of us recording the other day, so we had been talking about words and how we can manifest things with our words and how we speak to ourselves and the things we say out loud make a difference to our world. And then that evening I did my usual oracle card reading. I pulled one card out, I drew it as usual, and another one jumped out at me. And it is this one. So the card that jumped out at me, and I will put this on our social media as well, is magic words. And it says, "What are you speaking into being?" So I thought I would share it with you because I thought, wow, we were just talking about this today. How funny. So it says, "The law. Magic words hold the power to shape destinies, open secret doorways, conjure realms, bless or curse. With a deep yearning to command and influence, a person steps into the realm of incarnations, embarking on a
So,
journey to understand the potential of the human voice. The power of these words do not lie merely in their sonic vibrations, but in their intention. The unique resonance in the combination of the two creates a ripple throughout the cosmos. Perhaps it is the language the universe speaks most fluently. According to biblical tradition, it was through words that God created the world. Meaning, what magic words do you whisper to yourself? Whether we're aware or not, we all tell ourselves stories about our lives. How do your words shape your worldview? Bring you solace? Or mere you in grief or self-loathing? All words, be they invocations, nursery rhymes, prayers, songs or thoughts, contain their own sort of magic, for they form our experience. They mirror our innate ability to craft our reality through language. We are the empowered word wizards, the authors of our own stories, and the words we speak to ourselves determine the plot. Take a moment to listen carefully to your thoughts and words when you speak, as you would a wise storyteller. Where do you want your story to lead? Speak the next step forward into existence. Diving deeper. The utterance of magic words is a journey of manifestation, a reflection of our deep desire to call forth transformation from the wellspring of our intentions. We are linguistical alchemists, casting spells or reciting prayers with every sentence. How would you speak to yourself if you believed that words were truly magical? And that was exactly what we were talking about in the episode earlier in the day. So I thought it was appropriate to share. And that is from I think we already mentioned, the Oracle card deck, Folklore Oracle by Giada Rose. Am I saying that right?
I don't know how it's pronounced.
It's
I was trying to.
Giada Rose. And they're beautiful cards.
As we come to the end of this episode, take a moment to pause. Notice where you are, how your body feels, and what's settling in after everything we've shared. There's no pressure to have it all figured out right now. You don't need a full plan or a clear destination, just a sense of what you're ready to carry forward and what you're happy to leave behind. Whatever intentions are beginning to form for you, let them be gentle. Let them breathe. Trust that clarity often comes through living, not deciding. As you move back into your day, remember that you're allowed to walk your path at your own pace. And wherever you're heading next, you don't have to rush to get there.
Happy New Year, everyone. See you next month.
Happy New Year.
Thank you for listening to this episode and being part of our journey. To continue the conversation, we invite you to join us on our Facebook group, Which Way Next Community. You'll be asked the questions, what are the names of the hosts? The answer is Med and Emma.
You can also find us on our Facebook page, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. If you want to get in touch to share a listener story, question, or to work with us, our email address is whichwaynext@gmail.com. So I've been Med.
And I've been Emma. Join us next time where we ask the question, which way next?
Put down my dreams, told me that I was less than, or even worse, told me to be silent and just walk on eggshells around them. We're pausing this episode for a moment because it's time to announce the winner of our giveaway. Here's a recording of us drawing the name live, and if you want to see it, the video is up on our social media.